we're excited to be here again, and we're going to take a few minutes to explain the next steps in our ministry as we're moving forward. The next step for us is going to be building a house in the jungle. It's an often overlooked step in church planting, but man, it's really important. We're going to take a minute to talk about why we're building a house, what we're building, and thirdly, how we're going to build it. And so we're excited to jump into that with you. So why are we building a home in the jungle? Well, it's pretty simple, really. There's a lot of things that need to take place inside the home. Right, we have to sleep somewhere. We got to prepare food, laundry. Shelby has to homeschool the kids. There's a lot of things that need to take place inside the home. But most importantly, the home is going to allow us to stay in the village with the language group for years and years and years to come. And if we can stay there for a long time, that's going to allow us to learn the language, to learn the culture, to create an alphabet, to do translation, and to do discipleship down the road. And so it's really important that we have a house and where we can that will help us to accomplish these goals. So next, let's talk about what we're building. In a lot of ways, our home will be similar to your home. It'll have bedrooms and a bathroom and a kitchen, but it'll be very simple. We'll basically be building a plywood box on top of stilts. We build all the houses up off the ground because there's a lot of flooding in our area of Papua New Guinea, and we want to be up off the ground when that happens. Yeah, we'll have a metal roof, which will be used to collect rainwater for our drinking water and for washing. We'll put solar panels on top of the roof for electricity in our home, for lights and certain appliances and electronic devices. And yeah, it'll be functionally the same as your house, but in design a lot simpler. Lastly, our third point is probably the longest point here. How are we going to build our house, right? There's no Home Depot, there's no Lowe's out in the jungle. So some of our material will actually come from the jungle itself, and we'll cut down some trees and use chainsaws to create different boards and planks that will be used in the building process. Also for some of our stilts, we'll actually just use trees for those. We will be able to get certain materials in town, but that presents a whole new dynamic of how do we get those materials from town into the bush. To get material into the bush, you basically have three options. If you are by a source of water, you can use a boat. If you're not, though, then you're pretty much restricted to using an airplane or a helicopter. And depending on your location and your distance and what materials you're trying to bring from town, man, that really impacts the logistics of how you will get those materials into the bush. It really impacts what materials you can bring into the bush. It impacts the cost of transporting those materials, and ultimately what materials you bring in determine what way you're able to bring them in, whether that's the airplane, the helicopter, or by boat. So after we've gathered all of our materials for building and they're all out there and on site in the location that we're building the house, right, we can move ahead and we can start building. And this process usually takes several months due to the fact that we have to go in and out quite a bit during this time. I would be leaving our family back in town for several weeks as we go out to the bush to build and come back. And we're really hoping to bring over a couple skilled tradesmen, a couple skilled builders from our sending churches back in America to help with this process. Just they have a tremendous amount of knowledge, and it will also help to speed the process along, having a few more hands who know what they're doing. So that was a really short explanation of the house building process. And while it's a relatively short time period that this will take place in, it is pretty complicated and presents some pretty unique challenges. But a well-built home will serve us well for many, many years. Our ultimate goal is to share the love of Christ with those who have never heard about it or experienced it before. And like many things in our life, this house is but a tool that can be used to move the gospel forward. And if it's well built and we use it correctly, right, it will be a tremendous asset in bringing the gospel to a language group that has never heard the gospel or God's message in their own language before, and that's really cool. So thank you guys for being interested in what the Lord's doing with our family here in Papua New Guinea. Yeah, we're really excited to share with you all this week, and man, please keep us in your prayers if you think about us. And yeah, we want you guys to have a great rest of your week, so thank you.